All right, so another thing we're going to talk about is welding tests, right? So there's two different types of there's a couple different types of welding tests. The ones that I encountered typically were like you would weld a plate, you'd have like two plates set together, and then they'd have like a little 45-degree bevel. Basically, it'd create like a valley, and then you had to like run a bunch of welds in it. Usually they try to do like vertical up like this, because if you can do the vertical up like this, there's like flat, then there is like, I don't know, horizontals like this, and imagine you're just welding across the fingers, right? And then vertical up, which is the hardest one to do. Typically, if you can do vertical ups in a position with a rod, whatever, or wire, you can do anything. And then, of course, there's overhead where you're just, welding like, across the top, essentially. Okay, so that's the weld positions. Yeah, that's easy. So this was an example of like a vertical up I did to get hired. Like, like you want to like put in like perfect beads and welds and stuff, which these are pretty good for, you know. To be able to do this like this, I was welding like every day, like for like 2-3 years straight, several hours a day. And my favorite like process was called dual shield. That's why these are like really big and wide and stuff. But essentially, yeah, and what I did was like the first one I did, this was the one that actually got me hired. And I'm like, okay, are we going to break this? Because like if you're going to break it, you would weld down one end and then you take like this T and you just smash it. And you see just how it breaks. And forensically, you can like tell if it's a good weld just from that, And I got pretty good at those too. But he said, no, we're not breaking these. So I just went ahead and I welded up the other end. I was just showing off at that point. That's why like this side doesn't look like as good, but whatever. So yeah, if you start like welding for a company or something, you'll walk in, they'll say, do your weld test. And it's just whatever they want you to do. And you just, when you're doing these, just always get into a comfortable position, always do like, it's been so many years, but I'm a lefty too. So, you first, what you do is you like trace a line completely, right? Like you're like, okay, I'll start from down here and go up, right? And you like, fuck, man. Okay. Just pretend that's standing straight up, right? Like you would just, here, we'll do offhand, right? So you just make sure that you can do it first, that your like wrist and arm has like a good range of motion. And you basically run those welds. And the guy, it was kind of funny. I did a lot of welding in like school, at like a trade school, to get like good enough to do this. The guy was like, well, you don't got a lot of W-2 experience, but you definitely got some experience. So that's that weld test. Now, like L&H's was kind of cool. So what they do is they would kind of pick it up either like this to be flat or down here, and these would be the same distance, right? Now everyone thinks that place that it's just putting in a bunch, filling it up with welds. No, they want you not only to fill this thing up with welds, but then they want you to take like a grinder and they want you to grind it like perfect, like and just like, and then they look and see, hey, does this look concentric all the way through? Like, could I spray paint this and have it literally look like it was one whole piece of metal? Now, for that weld test, I already got the job and everything. And then I went ahead and did another one. Just we had a slow day where I was just able, it was like my last day, like working there. And I just like kind of just filled up one And I didn't grind it. I took it home. I had this huge thing. I had trouble picking it up because, and that thing was twice the length of this. So really what they wanted you to do was they wanted you to go like way back here and weld it in one concentric thing. And you had to do this. And then you see how I have like starts and stops here? Like I kind of started, this would be like my root pass. And then you do the bottom one, and then you do the top, right? And then the reason why I have these stopped at different points is because, let me see, there should be a hump. Oh, right here, right here. Like this hump right here. This hump. Notice how this is like raised a little bit? Well, you stagger these and start and stop these at different places because like this thing will, these dips at the end will create like a weak point, right? I learned this at L&H actually, that you want to start and stop at different spots, kind of. And then you get like these little parts. This is, eventually you'll see like a huge like thing where these are like way raised up. You'll get them just like making like a little hill, like a miniature hill. And that's pretty much weld test 1010 for anyone that wants to know.